Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back with some more miles on the Speedland RX 50, one of the most unique and interesting shoes to release this summer. I've been getting some miles in this thing and I'm gonna let you know how I'm using it, how I'm enjoying it, and whether it's a shoe that you might want to add into your rotation. Now, if you are looking for a new shoe to add to your rotation, you gotta make sure that you check out the Supwell app. I actually bought this shoe not from Speedland, not from Running Warehouse, and make sure to use my Running Warehouse link most of the time if you're looking to buy a new shoe and support the channel, because it helps me. But I didn't get that shoe from Running Warehouse or Speedland. I got it on the Supwell app from a fellow hobby jogger. He laced it up, and I think he just put it on in his house, and he said he knew it wasn't going to be for him because the fit didn't fit his foot. It fits my foot perfectly in a size 10.5. So shout out to my guy Alex on the Supwell app. If you're looking for a great deal, I got this under MSRP through that deal on the Supwell app. Make sure you're in with us. And it's also a great community of hobby joggers vibing and stacking mileage, getting after it daily. So get in with us and enjoy today's video. Boom. Going? You want oatmeal instead? Okay. First day of climbing camp, how are you feeling?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited.
Yeah, that's good. I'm excited for you too. I think you're gonna love it. Alright, buddy, here you go.
That's a little mess. It's rock climbing camp, Daddy.
Yeah, I know, it's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it is. Mommy also signed up for a lot of other camps. Showing you it is because it's a chapter book and you're not going to be able to read it. You're probably going to eat that whole thing.
Yeah, probably today, but not all tonight. Or
Yeah.
not right now.
But you're going to eat the whole thing, I know it. Oh, Bobby. Long time to go with it. So you're going to have it right now. You're going to have it with your lunch. You're going to have it for snack. And you're going to have it before dinner for snack.
Probably.
And you're going to have it after dinner. For your dessert. Me too. No, I'm talking about Daddy.
One bite, everybody knows rules.
It's gonna be fun.
Fire. Overnight oats, they don't miss.
Oh no, so that oats, so breakfast, bye.
Third breakfast. Nothing hits like third breakfast.
Third breakfast. Another beautiful day in the hill. First day of summer for Mace. Family's kicked back, relaxing, chilling, gonna get some recovery mileage. It's a good day. That's the thing I don't think they quite understand though, is it's summer, but I still have to work. It's not like when summer vacation starts, I'm on summer vacation too. Although Mason is now lobbying me to get some sort of a job where there's summer break. So she wants me to become a teacher or a professor or a university or high school administrator so that I don't have to work during the summer. But I was telling her it's hard to do that because once you're into your career path, it's really, you don't have a lot of transferable skills to make a hard pivot. like that. So you have to start all the way on the bottom again. And that's not something that you want me to do once you have 3 children. It's kind of, you're stuck in your lane. It's not just like you switch. Anyway, we got the Speedland RX Fippy in the house for some more miles today. This is a niche shoe. I want to get some more miles though, because Saturday I put together the Max Cushion, most comfortable Max Cushion list. I didn't have this on here, and I don't know, it's not a shoe that hit for me amazingly on the first run. It felt heavy for what it is. Also, I couldn't really get a good feel for it with the plates. You can see here we have the removable plates. I just had them inside here, but it is a cool shoe. So this is a $300 training shoe. Again, that's why it's so niche. It's very expensive, but Speedland is a niche brand, and they're dedicated to putting out cool shoes. So on the upper, you got the BOA dials, doing some innovative stuff here. And then the big kicker here is the drop-in insole. This is what On does and Tracksmith does as well, with the uncompressed supercritical foam. So I learned that this uncompressed foam is very similar to what Adidas does in the Pro Evo, which is supposed to make it bouncier. Now, I liked it. I thought it was bouncy. I also felt that it was at times laborious for me to run in this thing. It just felt like a lot of shoe on foot, and I couldn't quite get it going, especially at my more chill paces. And then when I tried to run fast in it with the plate, it just didn't feel like it was a true workout shoe either, because it's, I forget the exact weight now, but it's over 300 grams. So very heavy shoe. And with this much stack, I just don't love running in the big heavy shoes for my workouts, and I find that they can work my hips more. But for the second run I did in it, second run of the day, I took out the plates. I just used it as a Max Cushion Cruiser. Think MagMax, think Glycerin Max. And it felt a lot better. So that's what I want to do again this morning. Just take it out for some nice recovery miles, no plate, see how it is, give this another look. It's a $300 shoe. I paid $300 with my own money for it. So I do want to get some miles and get some use out of it. It's a cool product. Now, in terms of the construction here, you get a big stack of foam. So this was over 40 millimeters in the back. Also, the drop isn't super high, so you get a ton of foam in the forefoot as well. I found the fit to actually be pretty decent once you dial in these laces. And then I found the stability to be okay too, because you get a really wide base. So it's going with a similar formula as the MagMax, as the Glycerin Max. It's one of those super max stack shoes. And then when you put the plate in this guy, it transforms into a Skyward X competitor. So if I'm feeling it for my run later today, I might pop the plate in and see if we can push some pace. But this is really going to be all about recovery this morning. Yesterday I went 20. Saturday I went only 6 with the stroller with some strides. But Friday I did a 19-mile day. In the morning I did a 15-miler with 800s at marathon pace in the Skechers Aero Burst, or Aero Tempo. The Aero Burst is their Max Cushion shoe, which I'll be testing soon. So I did a lot of intensity last week. I think I did 3 big runs in 5 days. The Wednesday workout, which was the threshold session, Friday workout, which was the 800s at marathon pace. It turned out to be about 5 miles of work at marathon pace, and even if you're breaking it up, that's still 5 miles of intensity on your body. And then yesterday, 2.5 hour long run, even if it's at a relaxed pace, again, that's still some intensity on your body, even if you're not going fast. So today is all about just cruising, absorbing the work. We're rebranding recovery runs to be absorption runs. We're absorbing the work this morning. Just going to get out there, try to enjoy these. You know, the guys at Speedland put a lot of work into making these shoes, and $300, I really think I just want to make sure I can get the most out of them. I haven't really on the first few runs. I've liked them, but I haven't loved them. So I'm hoping with some break-in and using them more for what they're designed to do, they'll give me some more. So short recovery run this morning. Focus today is all about getting the calories in and shaking the legs out. Let's do this thing. I like when brands try things, even if it doesn't completely hit, but there's a lot of cool elements to this shoe. Yes, it's $300, but it's a niche product. And when I was on the Doctors of Running podcast, that was one of the questions that we were talking about. Just our thoughts on expensive shoes. And I've said it a few times, but I have no problem with these enthusiast products being more expensive And in the case of the expensive race shoes, I really don't think you need to run a 2:15 marathon or faster to get the most value out of them. Not everyone who buys a McLaren is taking it to the racetrack. Matter of fact, most people who buy McLarens are not taking them to the racetrack, right? So it's all about just enjoying these shoes for, ooh, that's a big slug. Yeah, it's all about enjoying these shoes for what they are. Not everyone who buys a Jeep Wrangler or a Bronco is smashing boulders over the Rubicon Trail. Yeah, this is definitely a comfortable and cushioned shoe. I can feel some of that bounce coming through from the foam here. I'm excited to get some more miles in this. Let's do this. It's so interesting going back and listening to some of the hits of 10, 20 years ago and seeing how they've aged. For example, Hate It or Love It. I was listening to that yesterday and the day before. And everyone knows the 50 Cent verse, right? Talking about selling stuff to get a gold chain, that'll be dope. Toss and turn and sleep at night. But then if you actually listen to this song all the way through, the Game verse, which is the second verse, is even better. He kills 50 Cent. But it's just one of those things where he doesn't have a lot of quotable lines. But he's rapping. And then I was just listening to Mercy. And everyone knows the Big Sean, the first verse, built a house upon that blank. That's a blank state. An estate. The Sarah Palin line. But what I never realized is that the Pusha T verse in the middle is crazy. He's rapping. Yeah. Just funny how things age. Often don't appreciate things in their time. Like the Saucony Triumph 20. That was an underappreciated shoe. This thing though, I can appreciate this for a recovery day. This is such a nice ride. This is a smooth mileage machine. Better without the plate, for sure. Man, without the plate, this is feeling like a Primex Strong OG daily trainer. More stable, but the bounce, super similar. Yeah, for me, this is a much better shoe at just racking and stacking versus attacking. Translation, I don't like running fast in this thing, but it is beautiful for a Monday morning cruise. Just getting some time on feet, shaking off the intensity. Man, this is a nice ride. All right, that was mile 1. I'm not gonna check my pace today. I wanna just run and enjoy it. But feeling good. Just settling into a nice groove with these. This is just a ridiculously overbuilt daily trainer. Just feels bomb-proof. So sturdy and solid. The foam is just incredible. And I love experiencing this foam without the plate. Just the comfort with the bounce and the protection, so nice. And you don't need a shoe like this. You don't need a $300 shoe, but it is awesome. And I love that these things exist. If you want a Brooks Ghost or a Pegasus or something on a deal for good value, lots of great shoes exist for $150, $140 and below. But I can feel all of the engineering prowess that went into this thing. This is like the Ineos Grenadier. And Charlie told me the other day, she said she's been seeing more of those around town, and it's become the new hot car in Charlotte. Guess how many people are actually taking those things with the solid front axle off-road? Probably 1 in every 7 buyers, if that. We barely even have off-roading in the Carolinas. But people still appreciate the design, the build quality, the engineering that goes into it. Mile 2. Found a nice groove with this. You just gotta let the shoe bounce you along. Yeah, this shoe is doing all the work. This is the opposite of a workhorse. The workhorse makes you do all the work. Yeah, this thing is doing all the work for me today. Mile 4, I'm just floating in these things. Such a joy to run in. I forgot how nice it was to run without looking at the watch, monitoring any of the numbers or metrics. I've had this Garmin for 2 weeks now, and I'm trying to get a feel for it, see how the data is and everything, so I've been checking my watch constantly during the runs. This is my first time in 2 weeks, so I haven't been doing that. And before, I would never check the watch. And man, it is so much nicer. Especially on these days where we don't have a pace target. And what am I checking for? What am I checking for? I need to be checking in with myself, not the watch. How do my legs feel? Is my upper body relaxed? Am I holding any tension? The watch isn't going to tell you any of that. Should I go 8 or 10 this morning? The watch isn't going to tell you how long you should go. Well, it might, but it's not going to tell you how you feel. So we just hit mile 6. We now have around 25 to 30 miles on these. I don't remember exactly, but I know I did a double the first day. So it's probably around 16 to 20 miles. And then I did another random run in them, plus that 6. So let's call it 25 miles. This foam is feeling better and better. Definitely benefits from some braking. It's smoother now, bouncier now. It's just doing the work for me. I said this earlier, but I can't emphasize that enough. Feels like the shoe is just running for me. And I know it's become a meme now, how much I loved the MagMax. But this is a very similar vibe. except maybe even softer and more comfort oriented. Just hit mile 7. I'm gonna go to 10. Never leave mileage on the table, because I know if I go only hit 8 now, I'm gonna be kicking myself later this week. By the way, no hot spots today. That was an issue I had in the first run with these. Boom, there we go. We got 10 this morning. And consistently, that is what I find that the best shoes do. Any day where I'm not coming into it super strong, or I start fading, I lose the pop, or I'm just feeling like it's not my day. When I put on the best shoes out there, my favorite shoes, they make me want to go longer. And look at that. I was going to do 8, but we went 10. 7:53 pace. Nice relaxed run. Average 128 heart rate. Just getting out there, moving the legs. That's what the Glycerin Max does for me. That's what the MagMax does for me. And most of the time, it actually is the expensive shoes that have that quality. But that's what separates a standard workhorse daily trainer from some of these more elevated shoes once you start paying $165 plus. And the Nimbus to me is really an exceptional value right now. You can get it $100 on sale at Dick's, and it has some of that same quality as these more expensive shoes. So if you want that in a more affordable package, go check out the Nimbus. But the standard shoes like the Vomeros of the world, the New Balance 880s of the world, they don't have that quality where I want to just keep taking the legs over. And the best foams, Brooks Ghost Max has this too, by the way, with that DNA Loft V3 foam, the Ghost Max 2, that's an incredible deal too. And it has that quality where once I get into the run, it just keeps bouncing me along, and it's so easy to run. So you could think of this like the best version of a Brooks Ghost Max, the best version of a Puma MagMax, very similar to that type of a shoe. It's a lot of money, but for me, the way I look at it, is it going to make me want to run more and make those miles feel good? Yeah, and then the other part about it is, I've talked about it with the deal shoes. People want to get these shoes because they're $100 or $80, and then you have your deal shoe sitting next to your favorite daily trainer. Are you going to pull your Super Blast, or are you going to pull the random Saucony shoe you got on a deal? You're probably going to keep pulling your Super Blast or your MagMax or whatever your favorite shoe is. So for me, once the shoe is on the shelf, doesn't matter how much it costs. It just matters how much you want to run in it. And that's what makes a more expensive shoe worth it to me. Do I want to consistently reach for it over other options, regardless of price? And then you have shoes, of course, like the Neo Zen, which are just so good at $150. But man, stability on this thing, exceptional. The foam feel really nice. The smooth roll. This is an excellent shoe. It is much better without the plate. Perfect out here today. This might be the last week of cool mornings here in the Carolinas before the summer really starts getting rolling. It's about probably 64 right now, 64 American, high of 80 today. It's perfect. This is one of the best times of year. Everything is fully green, skies are blue, it's not too rainy. Next week it's actually supposed to be rainy, but man, what a beautiful day. This was the ultimate vibes morning. Some days it's about mileage, some days it's about vibes, some days it's about pace. That's the MVP training system. Some days I commit, I'm going 20 this morning. Every Sunday we do 20. That's the mileage. Other days, okay, we're doing a threshold workout and I'm gonna hit these 530s, 529s, or I'm gonna die trying. That's the pace. Other days, I'm just gonna move my legs. Let's get out here for an hour. Let's absorb the hard work. Let's recover. Let's eat some good food afterwards. Let's vibe. That's what it was all about. It was a real vibey run. And this is an incredibly vibey shoe. Oh my goodness, dude. This thing is a vibe master. Just look at this stack. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, this is a top tier shoe, top tier max cushion shoe. This is everything that I want in a fun recovery running shoe. And without the plate, it's actually 25-30 grams lighter without the plate, which is so ironic, right? Because you put in the plate for speed and then the plate increases the weight, which of course that would happen with any shoe, but it's just funny in a shoe like this, which is already heavy. But it just makes so much more sense to me without the plate. I'm not remembering the exact specs off the top of my head, plated, non-plated weight, but it's roughly a 300 gram shoe, right? Which is the same thing as the Triumph, which I reviewed yesterday, very similar to the MagMax, Nimbus, Skyward X of the world. It's lighter than those shoes. I think it's around 280 without the plate. So the equation just makes more sense. You say, oh my gosh, that's a non-plated shoe with that much stack that's 50 grams lighter than the MagMax, versus when you put the plate in, it becomes a racing shoe that's 80 grams heavier than the Alpha Fly. That doesn't make much sense, right? And for me, at my paces, what I've found is I really have to use a carbon plated shoe to enjoy my workouts and to hit the splits as I want to, or the alternative is either carbon shoe or something like the Adios 9. There's nothing in between, because once you go for the daily trainers of the world, for example, yesterday I was in the Triumph 23. I did not like that shoe, but trying to hit marathon pace in that, it just felt so big and bulky and not a lot of bounce. Now this is so much bouncier, much more energy return off the forefoot, much better ride than the Triumph. This is complete opposite end of the spectrum. I did not like this. I'm really liking this so far. But with all the weight and the stack, and just, it's not a shoe that I want to run fast in at my paces. So my next goal marathon pace was 540. My last marathon pace was 6 flat, and what I'm finding is really anything below a 7 flat for me doesn't feel that great in the speed training shoes and the shoes like this. And I think even for most people out there, if you're running the show must go on. If you're running a 4-hour marathon, 3:30 marathon, I still think you would enjoy running in a lighter shoe, race shoe for your runs, unless it's all about comfort and you do want the versatility of something like this. And where this starts to make sense is, man, you take out the plate, this can handle all of your aerobic miles, all of your recovery runs. You put in the plate. If you like how this feels at your marathon paces, and if your marathon pace feels like more of a moderately hard run versus something where you're really having to take all focus and your mechanics have to be locked in and everything. If your marathon pace is more of an extension of your training paces versus something you're only hitting on your toughest workouts, then you might like this. I don't think very many people who are going sub 330, sub 315, sub 3 are going to want to use this as a race shoe, but it is an incredible tool for mileage building, and that's what you're getting out of a lot of these max cushion shoes where you're starting to pay 180, 200 plus. That is really the additional 40, 50, $100 in the case of this thing. You're getting the additional capability. It's all about the capability, and I don't want to harp on the price. That's why I do the first run reviews. I unbox them, I harp on the specs, I harp on the price, and as I start to integrate these shoes into my training more, I really like to focus more on the ride. So let's talk about the ride of this thing. Let's throw it up. 10-mile recovery run this morning, right around a 750 pace. I now have about 30 miles on this thing, over 30 miles, and it really benefited from braking. So ride this morning. Great cushion in the back, great roll through. I was getting a lot of that rocker coming through today, which I didn't really get before, but look at how smooth it is right up here. It's not just one of those toe springs. It really is almost a full length Evo SL style rocker. So rockered shoe, but with how much foam you're getting on the back, really comfortable this morning for just hanging back, relaxed on the heel and clipping off near these 8-minute miles. And this did not feel that great to me at the 8-minute miles before. It felt like it was one of those shoes where I had to put something into it to get it going. But the more miles I get on this thing, the more I'm really enjoying the break-in experience. And it's actually not getting any creasing lines, which is interesting, but it does feel like it's softening up and just getting more of its character. And very similar to the Skyward X, the ride of this thing with how bouncy it is, I just have to fall into it. I can't force a certain pace. So it's not a great shoe if I want to hang back all the way. And similarly, it's not a great shoe if I want to be hitting fast paces. I really never want to run marathon pace or threshold pace in this thing again, because first run I did that with the plate in here and it just felt like too much foam and I was fighting against it. But benefit of all of the foam here, the protection, the cushion, how easy it is to run. Another one of these shoes in the category with the Glycerin Max, MagMax, how a lot of people feel about the Super Blast, not me personally, but a lot of people out there, that just makes it so easy to run. I don't have to think about it. It's just turning over, bouncing me along, really comfortable shoe. Now, upper, it does take some work to get it dialed in, and I think that is why I was getting the hot spots on the first run. It might be one of those things where even if it feels like it's dialed in, if you're getting the hot spots, it's probably not. So I had it perfect this morning. There was no slipping around the back. This upper is really nice. It's also a good breathable material right up here. And bonus, you get this waterproof toe cap, which I think is some of the DNA from their trail shoes coming in. So bouncy, protective, smooth, cushioned. This is really an enjoyable ride. I'm looking forward to putting the plate back in. Oh gosh, we got some barefoot mafia trying to take us down on the Max Cushion gang. Get out of here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to putting the plate back in here to see how it does. Probably this afternoon, maybe I'll do some strides or just get the legs turned over even more, but I'm just feeling like this makes so much more sense without the plate, and it's so comfortable without the plate. So first 30 miles in here, it's now feeling a lot to me like exactly how I was describing the Gap in Adidas's lineup last week. The ultimate in cushion that integrates the modern tech. And a lot of the brands are trying to do fast. Everyone wants to do fast, fast, fast. Even with this, they're trying to do fast with the plate in it. But it just feels like a force to me to try to make this a fast shoe. What I was saying last week is Adidas has the Supernova Prima. That is supposed to be the hero of their comfort franchise. Meanwhile, they also have the Supernova Rise and the Ultra Boost, and the Prima is a good shoe, but they just have a lot of shoes in that workhorse category. Rise, Prima, even Adistar. And what they're missing is something that is not quite the Primex Strung 3, because the Primex Strung 2 and 3, those are the race shoes with the aggressive plates and the bounce, and you do have to put some force into them to get them going. Adidas has nothing between the Prima and the Supernova or in the Primex Strung. Right? That's what this feels like. You take the comfort and the cushion of the Nimbus, of those more standard shoes of the Prima, you combine it with the Super Max stack. It has the foam height of the MagMax and the Glycerin Max, and then it has the race foam, the full race foam. Really an incredible shoe. So the weight isn't the lightest, but as I learned yesterday, or was reminded of yesterday with the Triumph 23, the weight isn't everything. And with the best shoes, I'm not thinking about the weight. When I'm running in the Alpha Fly, I'm not thinking, oh my goodness, this is 30 grams heavier than the Sky Paris, which it is. I'm just thinking about how nice the ride is. And oftentimes more weight just means more cushion, which in the best shoes translates to more bounce. And conversely, the inverse is not always true either. That was a terrible sentence. Miss Renard would be severely disappointed in me. She was always disappointed in me. Ms. Renard didn't like me very much. Miss Sendas would be severely disappointed in me. She actually liked me. That was one of my best English teachers. What I'm trying to say is something like the Saucony Triumph 23. You go down 40 grams in weight in that thing, and it still has the same pore foam, so it's not going to change the ride experience. Purely making something lighter weight doesn't mean that it's good, and having something be on the heavier side like the Skyward X or the Nike Pegasus Premium or this doesn't mean that it's a bad shoe. If it has the bounce, which this does, if this has the comfort, which this does, if it has the wide base and the stability, which this does, then the additional weight is worth it. Now, price tag, is it worth it? Again, that's not for me to say. I really enjoy the ride of this. The way I would think about the price, right, is of course if you have the disposable income and you are an enthusiast with the shoes, then do whatever you want. But this is the price of 2 daily trainers. A lot of people will get the Nimbus, and then they'll get the Adizero SL2, and then they'll get the Nike Pegasus Plus when it's on sale. How many of those are you actually going to be running in and getting up to 300 miles versus if you do get this and you really do put a lot of miles on it, then it's worth it. This is the shoe that can be your daily trainer and your recovery shoe and your long run shoe. So it is an expensive product, but if you're gonna actually use it, if you're on a budget and you're actually gonna use it, if you get this and then you don't buy any shoes for the rest of the summer, if you just rotate with this, maybe a lower stack workout shoe and your Carbon County race shoe, then you'll be all set. So it's not a terrible deal. And I've heard that this foam is supposed to last a long time. I have not verified that, so I can't tell you, but I believe that's another one of the things that you're paying for with this shoe in particular, not thinking about all the other expensive shoes, but specifically with the Speedland shoes. They're extremely durable. I've seen so many people post crazy things because people on the trail side are nuts. They're even bigger sickos than us on the road side. They'll do 800 miles in a pair of shoes. They'll beat down their ultras until the laces are falling apart. So if you can get the mileage out of this and you're actually pulling for it, then it's a good deal. The worst type of shoe you could buy is no matter the price, you get it and you just let it sit there on your shelf, right? So I think this is a shoe, if you do bring it into your rotation, that you would use a lot for most people out there, especially if you're stacking mileage. The other thing is there's that code, I believe it's free trail, and it brings the price of this down to $240. And then if you get it on Running Warehouse too, if you want the plate, it's cheaper versus going direct to the Speedland site. On Running Warehouse, it's $300 with the plate. On Speedland site, it's $335. Super weird with the plate. But if you go to Speedland site and you put in that free trail code, that will bring the price down. Oh man, we got USPS here. I wonder if they're coming for us. No, that's UPS. What can Brown do for you? Let's see. Let's see. Nothing today. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. And there's nothing in the mailbox. Alright, Speedland RX 50. This is a big thumbs up. I'm loving the ride of this thing. This and the Neo Vista 2. I'm going to be putting a lot of miles on this summer. Just so fun to come out here in a nice shoe, nice morning, and just stack some mileage. It reminds me of what I love about this. Not trying to hit any pace, not looking at my watch, not worried about my heart rate, just cruising. These are the best runs. And we made the overnight oats last night and the zucchini muffins, so I was fueled up and I'm gonna go refuel and get it all in. It's gonna be a good day. The absorption days. I'm trying to make these absorption days, these recovery days, the best days of my week. Eating the most, enjoying my runs the most, running the best shoes. That's my new mission, because so often these recovery days are the hardest, but we are off to a good start. All right, that's all I have for you today down here. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Also be back later today, likely, with more mileage in this thing. Bang. Reevesy and I did this entire puzzle this morning. He was beasting out. But Refuel, I already had one of these muffins after the run, right before I showered. So good. These are zucchini chocolate chip muffins. I got to start getting these recipes from Charles and putting them on the Instagram or something, but insane. She was kneading eight cups of zucchini yesterday just with her bare hands. Yeah, she puts the zucchini in the shredder. It sounds disgusting, but it's really good. It's zucchini with chocolate chips. It's wild. And then the other thing we made last night, she showed me how to make these finally so I could make them myself, but she made a big thing of overnight oats. So this thing is tank-like. It's about 2 cups of oatmeal, maybe even more. There's 3 or 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, chia seeds, maple syrup, and then oat milk. You can see the oat milk looks watery in there because she got the low-fat oat milk. Ugh. But this is fire. This is calorically dense. This is exactly what we need. Balling out on them. Like it says ball right there. Balling out on them. Right, so I'm going to eat this and then probably some lunch later, and we can get back out there for some more mileage in the RX 50. Lunchtime shenanigans. Level 17,000. Coffee today. We're going black and white. Wilton Benitez thermal shock process. This is the adult Sour Patch Kids coffee. So good. So good. The Supwell mug. Getting extreme mileage. Boom. Yes, we'll save you somebody. So lunchtime, this is looking beautiful. Charlie said it is not an Alfredo though. She said that's too generous. I guess it's some sort of saucy penne with broccoli. That's what we'll call it, a vegan saucy penne with broccoli. So we'll bang this and then hit the double. Hi. Cheese. She'll smile for the camera. Yeah, smiles for the camera and then grumpy. Yeah. So I want to give you guys a sneak preview of this. This is the Supwell 2.0. We've been working on it. It's in its rudimentary stages, but this is how these things start. You gotta start somewhere. We've got the marketplace built up. You can see we're getting the mileage tracking going. We got basic posting functionality, so we're continuing to work on this. Should be ready. My goal is to have this ready for launch this summer so we can get off Circle and have our own custom marketplace. It's going to be awesome to have everything in a place where we can do it ourselves. We don't have to worry about the platform. And this is the thing with Circle that drives me crazy sometimes. People will be like, I can't send DMs. I'm like, dude, I can't either. I don't know what's going on. So this will mean that if there's anything wrong, it will be my fault and the development team's fault, and we can just fix it. And on the other side, we can add whatever features and functionality we want, like the mileage tracking. So stay tuned for this. Also, if you're watching and you're a Supwell app member, let me know what features you're looking to see on the new platform. But really what we're working on now is just mimicking the functionality we have over in the Circle, making sure that everything works, and then we can start bringing you guys in here. But I'm super excited for this. This is probably the thing I'm most excited about since we started Supwell. Also the summer merch. Barrett's been going crazy with that. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for more. We will have this coming very soon. Gonna have another one of those zucchini things before I hit this second run. They're too good. I don't know how she does it. Zucchini muffins. Who would have thought? Sounds like a weird concept, but they're actually fire. Supwell Kitchen doing absolute numbers. Man, second muffin of the day. Fire. Second run of the day. Hopefully this is fire too. Difference for this part. You already know what's going down. We're going to Carbon County. So this is a reverse of what I did the last day that I did a double on these shoes. Last time, for the morning, I went with the plated vibe. So that meant I was pushing the pace. In the afternoon, I was going relaxed. Today, I'm switching it up. I don't know if I'll be pushing the pace because this is still intended to be a recovery day and just don't really want to be exerting a lot. But we'll just see if this gives us a different feel doing it this way. And I don't typically run in plated shoes in the afternoon, but I was taking it really relaxed this morning. So maybe I'll have some more pop in my legs to do some strides at the end or something. And now maybe that this foam is broken in, I'll get a different feel and we'll just enjoy this more. So you can see that it's pretty easy to take these in and out. It only takes a minute. It's one of those things though where taking out the trash only takes a minute when you do it, but it's just building up the courage to actually go do it. It's one of those activities that I'm sure there's a psychological term for it where these things take 30 seconds to a minute, but it's just actually dedicating the time to do it. Yeah, plan for this run. I'm going to keep it short, nice 30-minute recovery run or aerobic run. Hopefully I can take over the legs better than this morning. My refuel was medium. The food was great, and I had enough, but I just hit it super late, so my late morning just felt super underfueled. All right, there we go. We are dialed in. Definitely feel a slightly firmer sensation with the carbon in them, even just standing. Let's do this thing. Any old chap can roll through Carbon County, call themselves a cowboy. But there's only one sheriff. Don't you ever forget it. You gotta earn this badge. Alright, we did a little experiment here. A good old Carbon County mix-up. So boom, let's call this a light run. Felt decent as we warmed up, but here's what we did. First 2 miles, both of the plates in. And with the plates in, it felt heavy, firm, and like the bounce that I was loving earlier was just dead end. So 2 miles in, I took out the left plate, and then I ran with it for a mile like that. Did a few strides, and I didn't notice a huge difference in terms of one being significantly faster or slower than the other, or feeling like I had to put more force down on one side with or without the plates. And then last mile, I took out both the plates and did some more strides and hit my fastest paces. I was getting down to 4:10 and 4:15 pace on these strides. And without the plate, this felt plenty quick enough. It felt like it had enough bounce. Like the rocker was really nice. It wasn't getting mushy or feeling like I was fighting against the foam at that 4:15 pace, and the legs were snapping off the ground. So a lot of this is, of course, going to be about us, the runner, and not everything is the shoe. You can't blame a slow run on a shoe or say a shoe is going to let you hit a 4:10 pace. But it didn't feel like I was getting slowed down or losing anything without having the plate in the shoe. And the ride is just so much better without the plate. It's smoother, softer, more comfortable, lighter, right? This is not a super light plate. It's weird how heavy this thing is, and I can just feel it working in there, and it's just not allowing the foam to do what makes this a special shoe. In the instant I put the plate in it, it transforms from, hey, this is one of the coolest training shoes on the market, to this is one of the worst race shoes out there. That's the difference. Non-plated, you put it up against the MagMax and the Super Blast and the Glycerin Max, and it can hang with any of those. Maybe it's even the best, depending on what flavor of Max stack you want. They're all great for something different. This combines the protection and smoothness and comfort of the Glycerin Max with the bounce of the MagMax. But you put that plate in there, then we have to start comparing it to the Cloud Boom Strike, the Elliott Racer, the Endorphin Elite, the Alpha Fly. And at those paces and what I would use this shoe for versus that shoe, I would not want to run a 10-mile marathon tempo in this. I would love to do many other times what we did today, which was 2 runs, a 10-mile run in the morning, a 4-mile run in the afternoon. Would I do that in the Endorphin Elite too? Absolutely not. Maybe I would do that in the Cloud Boom Strike, but this really excels as a training shoe. For me, the plate is just not doing anything, and it feels, I don't want to lob the G word at these guys because I know they do a lot of cool stuff, but it does feel borderline gimmicky to have this removable plate. It's just not adding a whole lot to the shoe to me, and it feels like a much better shoe without it. That's where the comfort comes through, the bounce, the fun. The plate just feels like an afterthought, and it almost feels like there was a design requirement that they said, hey, we want to do the shoe with the removable plate, but it's just so much better to me without it. So I really like this shoe. I'm going to continue getting some miles on it. I know this is an extremely niche product, and it always helps when you guys give me a thumbs up in the comments and say, hey, keep reviewing the niche products, because it makes me want to do it. Otherwise, it's tough when I'm just out here shouting to myself on the steps of the shoe market reviewing a brand that not a lot of people know about. But as I've said before, competition is good. It's great that we have all these brands. I love that these guys are doing it for the culture of the shoe sickos, and I'm of course rooting for the small guys to win, but that doesn't mean we're going to take it any easier when it comes to the reviews. Yeah, about 35 miles on this thing now. Rubber's in good shape. Really fun ride. I recommend this if you have the budget for it and you are truly looking for a shoe to stack a lot of miles on. This is going to be a great pick, and you can use it just as a daily trainer for 30-minute runs, but any of these 200-plus shoes, they really start feeling awesome for me once I'm going an hour or longer, and this is another good one. I do think it benefits from having a lighter weight sock, though. That's the last thing I'll say. This insole, something is weird. I don't know if it's this material, but I was getting some of that warmness on the bottom again. So next time I run in the heat in the afternoon, I'll use a different sock. Just something about this wasn't completely there for me. But there you go. 14-mile absorption day. Fun shoe. Good vibes. This shoe is the definition of good vibes, man. This is an awesome shoe. I'll be back tomorrow with some more mileage.